In recent years, Venezuela has been facing a severe economic crisis, with inflation soaring and necessities becoming scarce. Amidst this turmoil, there's a hidden story of how millions of dollars were laundered out of the country, exacerbating its financial woes. Join us as we delve into the intriguing world of Venezuelan money laundering and uncover the secrets behind this complex scheme. The corruption level in Venezuela is very high compared to other countries around the world, and it affects many aspects of Venezuelan society. This corruption has been exacerbated by the discovery of oil in the country during the early 20th century. As a result, there are significant economic challenges facing Venezuela today. A Gallup poll conducted in 2014 revealed that 75% of Venezuelans believe that corruption was widespread within their government. This discontent with corruption was one of the driving factors behind protests in both 2014 and 2017. Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index for 2023 ranked Venezuela 177 out of 180 countries, with a score of only 13 out of 100. This indicates a high level of corruption, with the country's public sector perceived to be highly dishonest. In comparison, the best-ranked country scored 90, while the average was 43 and the worst was 11. In 2023, Transparencia Venezuela reported that the amount of money involved in judicial cases related to government corruption in 26 different countries totaled at least $70 billion. However, the question arises that how did the embezzlement scheme unfold? It exploited Venezuela's dual currency exchange system. In Venezuela, there are two exchange rates, one for the national currency, the bolivar, and another for the US dollar. Melcher explained, the bolivar to dollar rate is set by the central bank. However, not everyone can freely exchange bolivars for dollars and vice versa. Only a select few companies, including PDVSA, have permission to conduct official bolivar to dollar conversions. Those without access to official exchanges must resort to the black market, where exchange rates differ significantly from official ones. Bolivars fetch a much higher value at the official exchange rate compared to the black market rate. The group of fraudsters reportedly took advantage of both the official and unofficial currency exchange systems. The fraudsters possessed dollars, Melcher detailed. Using these dollars, they purchased bolivars on the black market. They then extended a loan to PDVSA, which reimbursed them at the official exchange rate, resulting in a substantial increase in their dollar holdings. This strategy enabled the group to amplify their initial investment tenfold. The scheme commenced in December 2014 to embezzle $600 million, that is approximately 534 million euros, and by May 2015, the group had managed double the amount to $1.2 billion. That is approximately 1.07 billion euros. The intricate money laundering operation. Enter Kroll. According to investigators, starting in 2016, he was enlisted by one of the co-conspirators to launder a portion of the embezzled funds. Allegedly, he successfully laundered $60 million, that is 53 million euros, and received $600,000 in commissions, that is about 534,000 euros. However, Kroll wasn't the sole operator involved in money laundering for the group. The operation utilized various methods and spanned multiple countries. A diverse range of models were employed. Melcher disclosed a significant portion of the funds initially flowed to Malta, specifically to shell companies with nominee shareholders, individuals who served as fronts for the companies, but only on paper. From Malta, the funds were reportedly channeled into various ventures. For instance, they invested in bonds issued by a company or made extensive real estate investments in Spain. Alternatively, they routed the funds through numerous banks to obscure the sender's identity, Melcher elaborated. Destinations for money laundering. In February, following a tip-off from US authorities, Bulgarian authorities intercepted transfers from suspicious bank accounts receiving millions of dollars from PDVSA. This case appears distinct from Kroll's scheme. The accounts were established by an individual with multiple citizenships, including Bulgarian citizenship at an undisclosed Bulgarian bank. According to Melcher, individuals seeking to launder money typically seek out countries with lax banking oversight and stable currencies to launder illicit funds. Countries like Bulgaria, as well as countries like Germany, are attractive destinations for such funds. Melcher noted, when seeking to conceal ill-gotten gains worldwide, many countries come to mind. Investigators are now scrutinizing all transactions involving the flagged accounts. However, looking back at the history of Venezuela has been marked by a pervasive presence of corruption, as highlighted by the Cato Institute. Ruth Capriles, in 1991, depicted the country's corruption-laden democracy in her work. According to Venezuelan NGO in 1997, approximately $100 billion of oil revenue had been misused in the preceding 25 years. During the Venezuelan War of Independence in 1813, Simon Bolivar decreed that any corruption would be punishable by death. However, despite such measures, Bolivar's dictatorship leadership was marked by financial mismanagement and accusations of favoritism. Similarly, his presidency in the 1820s saw decrees against corruption, yet his administration resorted to plundering cities for funds. Antonio Guzman Blanco, leading a corrupt government in the late 19th century, exploited his power and clashed with church officials. He even ordered the exhumation of Simon Bolivar's body to maintain the illusion of upholding Bolivar's ideals. Joaquin Crespo, his successor, further tainted Venezuelan politics with his power struggles and corruption. Cipriano Castro's dictatorship from 1899 to 1908 was infamous for its corruption, with laundering of the treasury, political oppression, and diplomatic conflicts with foreign nations. Juan Vicente Gomez, who succeeded Castro, accumulated immense wealth through corruption while ruling with an iron fist. Marcos Perez Jimenez's dictatorship in the 1950s was marked by repression, rigged elections, and personal enrichment. His regime ended in a coup in 1958, exposing widespread corruption and abuse of power. In the era of democracy from 1958 to 1999, corruption continued to plague Venezuela. Presidents like Carlos Andrés Perez and Jaime Lucinchi were embroiled in corruption scandals, leading to public outrage and legal action against them. Throughout its history, corruption has been deeply entrenched in Venezuelans' governance, undermining democracy and hindering socio-economic progress. The Bolivarian Revolution, spearheaded by Hugo Chavez, ushered in a government that has faced numerous allegations of corruption, economic exploitation for personal gain, dissemination of propaganda, and human rights violations. The regime has been accused of manipulating the economy, co-opting the military's loyalty, involvement in drug trafficking, supporting terrorist organizations, stifling media freedom, and mistreating its citizens. Despite claims by the Bolivarian government of implementing anti-corruption measures, corruption remained rampant, exacerbated by centralized power and weak enforcement of laws. Nicolas Maduro, Chavez's successor, faced criticism for perpetuating corruption and overseeing a state characterized by mismanagement and oppression. Transparency International consistently ranked Venezuela among the most corrupt countries globally, reflecting public perception of ineffective government efforts against corruption. The World Justice Project's Rule of Law Index also highlighted Venezuela's poor ranking, indicating a lack of accountability, transparency, and respect for the rule of law. During Chavez's tenure, corruption permeated various government institutions, with accusations of cronyism and misuse of public funds. Despite his anti-corruption rhetoric, Chavez's regime saw the consolidation of power, manipulation of the judiciary, and allegations of embezzlement and bribery. Public funds were misappropriated, with billions transferred abroad without accountability, allegedly used to buy political allies and fund illicit activities. Scandals like the Malintenazo exposed high-level corruption, implicating government officials in money laundering and bribery schemes. Maduro's presidency continued the pattern of corruption, with accusations of collaboration with terrorist groups and involvement in drug trafficking. His administration faced international condemnation for human rights abuses and economic mismanagement, leading to widespread suffering among Venezuelans. Key figures within Maduro's government, such as Diosdado Cabello and Raymond Rodriguez Chazin, have been implicated in corruption and illicit activities, including drug trafficking and bribery. The regime's ties to criminal enterprises further eroded trust in Venezuela's leadership, exacerbating the country's economic and social crisis. In summary, the Bolivarian Revolution, despite its promises of social justice and equality, has been marred by pervasive corruption and authoritarianism, leading to profound suffering and instability in Venezuela. Ultimately, this case serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for strengthened oversight and regulation within global financial systems to prevent the exploitation of vulnerable economies and the perpetuation of corruption. By shedding light on the methods employed to launder millions out of Venezuela, we can work towards building more resilient and transparent financial networks that safeguard against such abuses in the future. And if you found the given information interesting, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.